Good afternoon, and welcome to the New York City Council hearing for zoning and franchise. At this time, we would like for everyone to silence all cell phones and electronic devices to avoid any interruptions. Please, at no approach the dais. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good afternoon, and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Riley, Chair of the Subcommittee, and I am joined today by Councilmember Abreu, Hanks, Shulman, Carr, Sanchez, and remotely by Councilmember Moyer. Today we are scheduled to hold one public hearing regarding the Kingsbridge Armory ESDC grant application by the New York City Economic Development Corporation, followed by a vote on this application. I will now go over the hearing procedures. This meeting is being held in a hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or through Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council's website at www.council.nyc.gov/landuse. To sign up, or for those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if you are joining us remotely, you will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU numbers or the project name in the subject line of your email. We request that the witness joining us remotely remain in the meeting until excused by myself, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. I will now open up the public hearing on pre-considered LU related to the application by the New York City Economic Development Corporation for a grant to the New York State Empire State Development Corporation through the Restore New York's Communities Initiative and pursuant to the New York State Urban Development Corporation Act. The application concerns Kingsbridge Armory in the Bronx in Councilmember Sanchez District. Through the Restore New York Grant Program, municipalities can seek financial assistance for the revitalization of commercial and residential properties. The program encourages community development and neighborhood growth through the demolition, rehabilitation, and/or reconstruction of vacant, abandoned, condemned, or surplus properties. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online. You may do that now by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare and submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I would now like to give the floor to Councilmember Sanchez to give her statement. Councilmember Sanchez?
Thank you so much, Chair Riley, and good morning, everyone. I'm Councilmember Sanchez, and I represent the Kingsbridge Armory, and just wanted to share these points. The Kingsbridge Armory has been functionally vacant for over 25 years. We have over 500,000 square feet of pure potential in the space. Built in 1917, it's been used over the years as a military hub. Imagine 10,000 soldiers there at the height of World War II. It's been used as a concert venue, was used as a food distribution hub during COVID-19, and the list goes on. It is said to be the largest armory in the world. The Kingsbridge Armory represents the vast potential of our community. With EDC and a community working group, right when I took office, We led a 9-month community engagement process that reached over 4,000 Bronx sites and culminated in a community vision plan in December of 2023. Throughout this year, 2024, EDC has been reviewing responses to its RFP and is still in the process of selecting a development team. Today's resolution is about setting up any future effort for financial success. I want to be clear that today's vote is not a determination on any land use action for the Armory's future development. It is simply a vote on a resolution that will allow EDC to pursue a $2 million grant from New York State. I fully support this effort to make any future project financially sound and hope that my colleagues will join me in supporting following us hearing from EDC. While we do not yet know what the project will be, we do know that past development attempts at the Armory, of which there have been 2, have failed because they did not have adequate financing. I remain committed to and welcome any and all of my colleagues to support so that we can do everything possible to promote the redevelopment of the Kingsbridge Armory that comports with the community's vision plan. The community said we need to prioritize youth, welcome older adults, foster intergenerational relationships, create jobs and wealth for existing workers in the community, grow a regenerative local economy, put the Bronx on the map, and maximize community ownership. So there you have it. Look forward to hearing from EDC on the status of the project today, and hope for all of my colleagues' support. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Sanchez. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Michelle Liberti and Yana Pohorleski. I tried. Council, please administer the affirmation, please.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in your testimony today and in response to council member questions?
Thank you so much. For the viewing public, if you need the accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. I'll just ask that you please reinstate your name and organization for the record. You may begin.
Sure. My name is Michelle Lamberti. I'm with the New York City Economic Development Corporation.
And I'm Yana Pohorelski with the New York City Economic Development Corporation.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Riley and members of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. My name is Michelle Lamberti, and I serve as Vice President of Legislative Affairs in the Government and Community Relations Department of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, and I'm joined by my colleague, Vice President Yana Pohorelski. The New York City Economic Development Corporation works to create a vibrant, inclusive, and globally competitive economy for all New Yorkers. Our work is guided by 4 strategic priorities: strengthening business confidence, growing innovation industries with a focus on equity, building neighborhoods as places to live, learn, work, and play, and delivering sustainable infrastructure. Pursuant to the New York State Urban Development Act, the city intends to file an application for the Empire State Development Corporation's Restore New York Communities Initiative grant. This grant provides municipalities with financial assistance for the revitalization of commercial and residential properties. The program encourages community development and neighborhood growth through the elimination and redevelopment of blighted structures. The city intends to apply for Round 9 of the Restore New York grant to support the redevelopment of the Kingsbridge Armory. The grant funding would address critical infrastructure needs at the Armory and support the realization of goals included in the Together for Kingsbridge Vision Plan. The Together for Kingsbridge Vision Plan, as referenced by Councilmember Sanchez, was the result of an extensive engagement process with community residents, students, workers, and business owners about their vision for the Armory. This plan captures all the feedback gathered during the process from conversations with over 4,000 people, which included over 1,000 participants attending 4 public workshops, over 900 survey responses, over 500 community members touring the Armory, 9 community board meetings, 16 small group discussions, 3 public information sessions, and feedback from over 75 industry stakeholders. The Together for Kingsbridge Vision Plan reflects the community's values, ideas, and perspectives, all of which we heard clearly during the engagement process. The city released the plan in August 2023, and together with the release of the subsequent request for proposals on September 22nd, 2023, sought proposals from qualified parties for the unique opportunity to redevelop and operate the Armory and accomplish the city's goals of creating a financially feasible, thriving mixed-use development that would reflect the guiding principles set forth in the vision plan. We're excited about the robust engagement process done in partnership with the community, which has generated many great proposals for this amazing asset, an asset which will need all the investment it can get. We look forward to the public announcement of a developer and working with council to bring a project through the ULURP process. The Kingsbridge Armory is a historic military facility located in the heart of the Kingsbridge Heights neighborhood of the Bronx and is one of the few remaining armories in the city. The armory was constructed in 1917, and much of the building is in its original condition. The armory lacks essential building systems, including plumbing, HVAC, life and fire safety, and does not have adequate electrical service and lighting. Based on previously studies, it is known there are hazardous materials located throughout the armory. The building envelope is not watertight, the roof is past its useful life, and the windows are damaged and did not adhere to current New York City energy standards. I say this all to point out that there is extensive work that's needed just to bring this building into good standing, and we need every available dollar to do so. Restore New York funding, if granted, would be used to address these critical infrastructure needs at the Armory. As you know, the city and state have committed $216 million to benefit the redevelopment of the Armory by funding critical infrastructure needs that will leverage the maximum private investment while also supporting the community's goals identified through the ongoing engagement process. Any public investments in the building will help to support the realization of the goals included in the vision plan. As you know, redevelopment of the Armory is a massive undertaking with significant financial needs. We're leaving no stone unturned as we look to secure as many grants and funding opportunities as possible to advance this project. Under the proposed application, the city will apply for $2 million to facilitate the renovation and adaptive reuse of the Kingsbridge Armory, an existing landmark building of approximately 588,000 gross square feet that is currently vacant. Redevelopment of the Kingsbridge Armory is a special opportunity to transform an awe-inspiring landmark into a place that is catalytic for economic development for the community, the borough, the city, and the region. Consistent with guidelines issued by the Empire State Development Corporation, the city respectfully requests that the council make the following findings related to New York City's application for funding this project under the Restore New York grant. 1, the proposed project is consistent with the municipality's local revitalization or urban development plan. 2, the proposed financing is appropriate for the specific project. 3, the project facilitates effective and efficient use of existing and future public resources so as to promote both economic development and preservation of community resources. And 4, the project develops and enhances infrastructure and/or other facilities in a manner that will attract, create, and sustain employment opportunities where applicable. Thank you, Chair Riley and members of the subcommittee for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. I just have 3 questions real quick, and I'm gonna see if Councilmember Sanchez has any questions. I understand that I understand you're talking about a future project that hasn't yet been announced. What can you tell us today about how this funding might be used on this project?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Council Member. So I think, as I mentioned, we are looking forward to making a public announcement about the project soon. I would point to, as I mentioned in my testimony, the Armory has a lot of existing, really critical infrastructure needs that will need to be addressed, irrespective of what project comes before you and we move forward with. Some of those are like the plumbing and the HVAC system, adequate electrical. Some of you might know about the persistent flooding problem at the Armory. So there is a lot that needs to be done. The $2 million can be used towards renovation and redevelopment, and these funds would be employed for those purposes.
If the state were to deny this application for whatever reason, how would that impact the plans for this significant project?
I mean, I think we are committed to seeing this project as a success for the city, and so we would be thoroughly disappointed because we think it's a really great project for the state to be putting money towards. But we would continue to look for additional funding efforts to make sure that this project comes to fruition.
In the context of the Kingsbridge Vision Plan, is there anything you can share with us regarding future steps in terms of community outreach? Need you to press the mic.
Great. Better? Okay.
Yes.
So we are very excited to be announcing a developer shortly. In terms of the next steps on community outreach, the process that we would go through is the public approvals process, so environmental review and ULURP. And so, of course, we'll be back in front of the committee to discuss those steps. But as a council member mentioned, we spoke with over 4,000 residents in the process that led to the development of that vision plan. The vision plan has been a key guiding document in our review of proposals for the future developer, and so we're excited to continue outreach and seek additional engagement from the community as we move through the public approvals process.
Thank you. That's the end of my questioning. Councilmember Sanchez, do you have any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Riley. I just did want to highlight for colleagues that this is a very expensive redevelopment, as EDC has mentioned, but we do have $200 million secured, $100 million committed from the state, and $100 million committed from the city. And the city council, we have put in nearly $15 million at this point, together with the borough president. So we have the strongest foundation that we've ever had for an attempt to redevelop the Kingsbridge Armory, but it's very expensive and we need more. So it's very important to be able to secure these funds. And I guess my question for EDC would be, do you have an estimate that you could share at this stage of what a total development cost could look like at this stage, at this time around? And if you don't have an estimate because projects that have been proposed or have been so different, could you tell us what the total development cost was estimated to be in the last redevelopment proposal for the ice skating rinks?
Sure, of course, Council Member. And I'd say on a separate analysis that was completed on behalf of EDC in June of 2023, projected an estimated budget of up to $500 million, and that was for a generic redevelopment of the Armory building. So as you point out, Councilmember, it is a very expensive project. We are really grateful for city, state, city council funds that have been committed, but are looking for every dollar we can get.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez, are there any questions from my colleagues for this panel? All right, there being no questions for this panel is excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify regarding this grant application, remotely or in person?
No, Chair, there is no one signed up online or in person who wish to testify.
There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on pre-considered LU relating to the application by the New York City Economic Development Corporation for a grant by the New York State Empire State Development Corporation regarding Kingsbridge Armory in the Bronx. The public hearing is now closed and will proceed to a vote on this application, which Councilmember Sanchez supports. I now call for a vote to approve pre-considered LU relating to the application by the New York City Economic Development Corporation for a grant to New York State Empire State Development Corporation regarding Kingsbridge Armory in the Bronx. Council, can you please call the roll?
Chair Riley,
Aye.
Councilmember Moya,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Abreu,
Aye.
Councilmember Hanks,
Aye.
Councilmember Shulman,
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
By a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 0 opposing, and 0 abstention, the item is approved and referred to the full Land Use Committee.
Thank you, Council. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for participating in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.